We are a very niche business. We offer one service and one service only, and that's mole removal. Nothing else, and not mold, but moles like in the yard.
Yep.
Um, we're in our second year. We've grown it to 240,000. We offer two different plans for people to choose from, either a yearly program or just a one-time. We call it a quick fix. Um, Really, the thing is it a scalable business when you're just one product, one niche, nothing else? Can we scale it to five, six, seven, $800,000 at a single location? Or do you think it's going to stay on the bottom, like around 300, 400,000?
Like figuring out your total addressable market and then figuring out like what percentage of that do you reasonably think you can get is the important part, right? If moles are a big problem in your area and 10% of houses have it, well, we have a big total addressable market and likely not a huge amount of competition. So I think most of us underestimate two things. One, our total addressable market, because everyone's like, oh, I've like dominated markets. Like, look, you have $1 million business and there's probably $20 million worth of revenue being done within 10-mile radius of you, for example. And so most of us underestimate the total addressable market and then overestimate the percentage of that market share that we control. And so the question is like, do you dominate in terms of every single company, every single house that has moles is using you? If the answer to that is no, it's like, okay, do we need to educate people about our service? Do we need to get in front of more people? Do we need to create affiliate relationships with landscapers and lawn care people that are always in these areas but have no idea how to fix it? Like I would be going that path. I have a B2B path. I have a B2C path in terms of my marketing. I'd be going after 10, 20, 30 different landscapers and lawn care guys, sprinkler repair guys specifically, about like, hey, refer me, I give you a cut, etc. And I'd be going after them hard. But I think the vast majority of us think we need to add more services. And the reason that that's so difficult is because if you add more services, you will make more revenue, and guarantee you. Like, yes. So the answer is like, if I add more services, will I grow more revenue? The answer is yes. Same thing with adding more service area. The answer is yes, you will grow revenue. The question is that the kind of revenue you want? Because I really like the idea of having one service. And the question is, well, can I build $1 million business? Simply comes down to is there $1 million worth of revenue in your market? Right. And so I think the vast majority of us underestimate that. They're like, I think you could definitely build $1 million business on just moles.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I mean that's I've been doing it part time. I've got another company this year, and my wife has another company. We are selling her business, so we can go full in on the mole stuff because we see the long term. It's really the residual side of it. My other business doesn't offer residual side, and so we see the long term. It's just that's our goal. I mean, we service all of Middle Tennessee, so mainly Nashville. And so it is, we have probably about four direct competitors. As far as getting into the landscapers, we tried doing that last year. What type of percentage makes it enticing for them to even want to, reference us? And I think the biggest thing that I found out was getting to the technicians is insanely hard because it's not the people at the office that are referring us out. It's trying to get to those technicians. And we had a few meetings with some irrigation companies, but it was always with the general manager, and the general manager just said passing it on. And lo and behold, they're probably not passing on our information. So I guess two other questions then would be like, what's a percentage base that entices a technician, and how do we facilitate that? And then how do we get to those techs?
Yeah. So a couple things. First off, what do you spend on customer acquisition cost? Like, what are you willing to spend? Like your highest, like, what are you willing to spend for a customer?
Um, I mean, it's one of our services. The one off is $450 for 4 weeks. I could probably spend half of that and be okay. So 50% of that. If it's a yearly customer, their yearly value is $1,500. Um, I mean, I could probably spend half of that too if they were to sit there and sell something along the lines of
Yeah, then I
that.
would be saying
It's
two
highly
hundred
profitable.
dollars, like two hundred
Okay.
dollars, right? Like because like
Yeah.
your lowest package, you're able to retain the cost of that $200 and still at least break even. So two hundred
Yep.
dollars for a tech. So for example, you could be like, hey, the business gets $100 and the technician gets $100. All I need is you to scan this QR code on this laminated QR card.
Yep.
It's gonna have like a mole on one side and a QR code on the other. You scan this with the customer, you fill out this very basic form, and on that form, it's your name and your business name, and I'm going to give you both $100 if they sign up.
Okay. Cool. Okay.
And then you go to the business owner, they want $100 for doing nothing. And then you give it out to their techs. You're like, hey, can I just give this to your crew? They'll get $100, you'll get $100. You don't have to do a single thing, and you'll serve your customers better. Like you have so much margin there to work with.
Yep. Okay. Sweet.
Yep, cool. Go ahead, Edar.
Do you think flyers still have as good of a return rate as the online sphere does, especially right now when business is slow, really just trying to get your name out there and so on?
It really comes down to the offer. Like I can get a lousy flyer that simply just has a list of all my services and my phone number on it, and it'll convert extremely poorly, like 0.1%. I can take that same flyer, put a killer offer on it, and get 1 or 2% response rate. And so I think sometimes people judge not just flyers, but like Facebook ads. It's like, well, look, did you change the creative? Did you have 5 or 10 variations? Did you try pictures and video? Did you try change out the headline? Like these are the type of things that the creative matters. And so the creative and the offer matter. And so I would say for most people that say it doesn't work, I can prove someone in their market that has the right creative and the right offer and they crush it. So I'm much more focused on like the offer and the creative. I would say as a broad stroke, um, in a lot of markets, it's cheaper to go direct to the consumer, like go knock on their door or do door hangers or give them a flyer, etc. Mostly
Mm,
because it's scalable, it's a numbers game, and as long as you have a good offer and good creative on that, it can convert. Now, the thing is, you got to have a strategy around, okay, how many doors do I knock per hour? How many, flyers do I hand out per hour? Like you have to have a system in place. It's a little harder to track than like, oh, spend more money on Facebook ads, spend more money on Google. And so typically if you have more money, I'm going online. And if I have less money but more time, I'm going door hangers, yard signs, a little more guerrilla marketing style. But we've also seen like some of our biggest locations will still scale up door hangers. It's simply a matter of
mhm.
like, how many door hangers do I knock per hour? And what's my conversion on that? And if I pay someone X amount per hour, what's my customer acquisition cost?
Okay.
There are $1 billion companies built on literally door knocking, solar, etc. So like, it's not necessarily fun, but if you don't have money, it's definitely the route to go if you have the time to go knock on doors or the systems in place to be able to ensure that quality control is happening for people that are putting them out.
Awesome. Thank you.
You got it.
So I was looking at my numbers and I have my average ticket is about $79 per yard.
Yep.
So we do about 123 yards a week.
Yep.
I got one guy that does it by himself. And I'm trying to figure out at what point can I jump into the mix of like going out and helping him or working because I have another job. But I started the company, I want to jump into it. I had also we do trees as well, and the trees pay for all that, but he just put his 2 weeks in. So I gotta try and figure that out pretty
Mhm.
quickly.
Yeah. Um, I would say, was this your first year, Zach, or your second year? How long have you been doing it?
Oh, I it was my dad's business, so we're
Okay.
celebrating 4 years.
Wow. Okay. So
But my
I think
dad
it's a matter.
started real small, so like we're trying to
Got it.
grow it a little bigger.
I got you. Yeah, like I think it's two different questions. One is, do you go full time? The second one is, do you hire an employee? How to hire an employee essentially. Like this person probably has been with you for a while in the past and knows the routes, etc. So, um, are you kind of questioning, should you just go ahead and be that person and jump in? Is that what you're kind of thinking?
I just can't justify leaving my full-time job for this. I bought
Okay.
it from dad because he wanted to retire, and
hmm
it's been our family for longer than I've been alive.
hmm
So it was trying to help them and make a little bit of money because I bought it with only 80 accounts and we're up in the 120s now. And we had
Yeah.
before the hurricane, we were doing almost 160. So we doubled in size in a year because of door flyers.
Yep. Yeah, so like I think it just comes down to like if you have confidence that you can double the business again, that starts to look very interesting in terms of you quote unquote jumping in, like you said. I think if it, depending on what you're currently making and the replacement value of that, like how much you have to make in the business to replace your income, it's likely that hiring someone is a better move. Right. So if you're making twice as much as what you would be hiring someone to do the work, you should go get someone to do the work, especially if you create systems in place where you don't have to be there. You're probably not having to answer the phone. It's somewhat like on call. Like you don't have to be super bothered throughout your day at your job. So like I would probably be trying to find an employee. I would say it'd be important to try to get some system of pay for performance. So that way they are accountable to actually get the work done, get moving. Otherwise you're going to be like the employee that's leaving now, have they been around for like a long time?
No, it was my best friend, but he's moving.
But how long has he been with the company?
Oh, like a year.
Oh, okay, okay.
So I
So,
trained him, and it's just such a simple route system.
cool. Yeah,
So
so then I think you could do that again. Like you're gonna have to find someone else, obviously. And I think creating the systems this time would be beneficial because if you're gonna scale, how you train this person, et cetera, should be documented so that next time you can copy and paste it and it's not so much of a stressor. Whether they leave and you have to replace them, or you're getting a second and a third and a fourth person. So I'd be trying to like, hey, this time, instead of just training them, I'm gonna actually, how do I document the system of training somebody so that you can do this multiple times in the future? That'd be my focus. And then if you're thinking about jumping in, your time is going to be much more valuable from a sales and like management style in terms of your use of time because your current job is a higher leverage than you out in the field working. And so the only way to really jump into the business and make sense of it is you start managing 3, 4, 5 people or doing sales. Do you actually want to jump in into the business and actually do like run it, or is that the eventual goal, or you're trying to avoid that?
uh I do trees for a living.
Got
So
it.
the lawn, it kind of works, but like I'm busy with trees every day. So
Got
if
it.
it's busy, I'll send the tree guys over to help with the lawns for a couple hours, but it's not something that they want to do or want to do on a regular basis.
How much bigger is the trees compared to the lawns in terms of revenue?
Um, we do about 30,000 a month with trees, and we do 10,000 a month with lawns.
Do you think the lawns is a distraction?
I get all my customers from my lawns.
Ah, perfect. Cool.
So
All right. Makes
it works
sense.
really good together like that, but I can't justify jumping on a mower instead of getting out of a tree.
Totally. Yeah. So I think this is one of those things where it's like this is top of the funnel. The goal is probably to get you can get a customer much cheaper doing from lawns and then you
Yeah.
upsell them into trees. And so if you can create a system around hiring, that'd be my big focus so that you can scale the lawn side, which then drives tons of leads to the more profitable side of the trees.
Okay.
So it sounds like you have it pretty dialed in terms of like the route, et cetera. It's just like, how do I systematize the hiring process so it doesn't create anxiety when someone leaves? Because I want to be able to take a green person and make them profitable within 1 week. And so if you
Yeah.
document this first one, it's going to be painful because like you don't have this now, but create that system on this one. So in the future, if they leave or if you need a second, third, fourth person as the business grows, you're just like plug and play. And then this becomes your engine, your marketing engine for your tree service.
Okay.
Cool.
Thanks.
You got it.
Am I good to go?
Go for it.
Okay. So when it comes to upselling, as far as is that something that the employees will upsell for us? Or we could even do it. But if the employees on the property, are they supposed to price it, or do we have to go out there and price it, or do you try to just have them take pictures of it and price it that way?
Yeah, so it depends on what service you're trying to upsell. So if you're trying to upsell a service that's super basic that you think you can give standard pricing for, you could make that in the email or text message part of the deal, like pricing.
Okay.
But usually what I recommend is the upsell text or email is simply just like, hey, the crew was at your property. They thought they looked at your XYZ flower beds, thought you needed mulch, whatever it is. And I'm just trying to say, getting them to say I want an estimate.
Okay.
Usually.
Okay.
I'm usually not pitching them a price because again, it kind of feels a little bit out of the blue for them. But if I'm just
Yeah.
very cordial, like, hey, we were at your property, saw this might be a need for you. People are very accepting of that, and they
Yeah.
usually
Yeah.
appreciate it, even if they say no.
Yeah. Okay. That's something on my side is just I seem to always be trying to train the guys or run them, which we don't have P for P implemented. So I feel like once we implement P for P, that'll free me up more. So then I can actually get to all the quotes and be more the sales guy. So
Yep. And
um
you could give your crew like, hey, like it's 10 whatever like dollar amount per
yeah, yeah.
upsell, and then maybe you increase it if they actually close, right?
Okay. Yeah, yeah. I've got one more, and this was from a lady that kind of come up today, but I've had it in the past where whether it be a complaint or just pricing or anything like that, they try to compare me or anybody else to other businesses, right? as simple as, like I'll use this as an example, which we do for the most part do card on files, but I've had it said before where, I've never had another loan company ask for a card on file. Why is that something y'all do, or why should I do that, right? What do you normally tell people, or have your general managers tell people when they start trying to compare businesses?
I would just always agree with them. Like if no one else is doing it, yeah, you bet your bottom dollar we're the only ones doing it. That's why and then you turn to a positive. Like the reason we do is to save you time. Well,
Okay.
the reason we do that is that we don't have to have an admin person and pass that cost along to you. The reason we do this, we don't have to take checks to the bank. You don't have to write out checks, and stuff gets lost in the mail. Like you just turn this
Okay.
around to be a positive thing. I just agree with them
Okay.
and then make it positive. So if they
Yeah.
start comparing prices, like yeah, we're way more expensive, and here's
Yeah.
why. Like we do X, Y, and Z, and compared to all those other people, they don't do that. So like
Okay.
I think if people start comparing you, I embrace it. I just like make sure
Yeah.
you're better than everyone else.
Okay. All right.
I have a couple questions. So this year money on the bank, we got 211,000. I'm keeping 400 for next season. No, I'm keeping 40,000 for next season for the beginning of the season. In debt, we have 80,000, which is a few brand new mowers and a new truck. Thinking about just be completely debt free, and I would still have 91K that could be put towards something else. Um, Now my question is, should I invest that money towards a new admin person, or because right now I do everything from I'm in a field with everybody. I'm doing maintenance. I'm doing paperwork. As you can see right now, just so much work that goes along with it. Uh, so I don't know what do you think would be the best decision if it were you at this point?
Yeah. So just so I hear you right, you have $211,000 in revenue. We have $40,000 in cash in the bank of the business, and we have
Yeah. So
another
we have 211,000 revenue on the bank right now, just sitting there.
money in the bank, like cash.
Correct.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Okay. I thought it
Yeah.
was revenue. Got it. Okay.
Yeah. So just and so I'm keeping 40,000 to start off the
Got it.
season.
I
Okay.
got you.
80,000 in debt. So we have left over 91K.
I got
Where
you.
do I go about that now?
So the question is like you're gonna pay everything off, it sounds like, using the cash.
Thinking about it. Yeah.
What percentage of interest are you paying on the trucks and equipment?
Trucks right now, I believe is 7.3.
Okay.
The equipment is nothing, is like 1.6. So
Yeah.
uh,
Personally,
that
I'd probably
what
keep the debt on the equipment. If it's 1.6, like it's just inflation is higher than that. So if you have
correct.
interest rate underneath inflation rate, typically you should just keep the debt. Um,
Okay.
so that would be my recommendation, assuming you're aggressively trying to grow. Now, if you're like, hey, I don't really need to grow, I just want to be risk free, then yes, pay off the debt, right? If
Okay.
there's a sense of like, hey, I own everything, I don't have debt, that is nice.
Yeah.
But in terms of what to do with the rest of the money, I'm apprehensive to say you need an admin person because you're only doing 200,000 in revenue. Now, what do you think you're going to do in revenue next year?
No, so this year gross, we did just around 756,000.
Oh, okay. I apologize. I kept hearing 211 as your revenue. My bad. Okay.
That's
So you're
what I
doing like
have in
750.
cash.
Okay, that makes way more sense. Okay, fantastic. All right. I was out in a different field. Okay. We
No,
got
no,
211,000
no
in the
problem.
bank, got the 40,000 that you want to keep for next year, plus the $90,000 of debt, and we got a $750,000 business. Okay. We are tracking. Okay. Do you want to keep growing or do you just want to make more profit?
So I do want to grow, but I want to grow slowly and be able to control everything, not just go balls to the walls and lose my mind, because as of right now, I still lose my mind. You know what I mean? Just dealing with either clients or employees.
Okay, cool. So
So,
I know what my recommendation is then. Okay, great. I would raise prices across the board at least 15%. And then I would use that profit that's going to be created by if you hit $700,000 and increase your prices by 15%, you're literally going to generate $110,000 of straight profit. That money is going to go to an admin person. And then if you want to keep growing, you're going to an operations person. Now, right now you're juggling sales, operations, and admin yourself. If you got
Correct.
one person admin, it's probably going to cost you 60, maybe 70 grand a year with taxes, et cetera, benefits, 70 grand. You can pay for that with one price increase. So by raising the prices, you're going to A, make the business more profitable, and B, you're going to get some sanity back by having admin covered. Because at 750,000, you need an admin person.
That's what I just got done with all the paperwork today, and that's what we closed at 756. But it's everything. I've been doing everything nonstop I've
And
been
you have
working
the
Monday
cash.
through Monday.
You have the cash. Like this is not even a question. This is like, if I was talking to you as my brother, I'd be like, you raise prices immediately, or when you hit capacity. Like, are you at capacity right now? Like, would you need to buy more trucks
No,
if you were?
I'm not at capacity right now. I
Could you
have
sell the? Could you sell the truck that's new and get by?
no. I would be at capacity if I sold the truck that's new. The reason why we had to grab a new truck is because the truck that we had, the engine went. So it was more expensive to put an engine in an old truck than to buy a new truck, you know. So I
Okay.
think it was to put a new engine in a truck was gonna be around 10 grand. I'm like, I'm just gonna put the 10 grand towards the new truck.
Yep.
And then I also have my personal truck that what I'm doing this year is putting a dump insert on a pickup and send it
Mhm.
out to the guys, you know,
Yep.
and just
Yeah. So
going at it.
this one's easy because you're not trying to go hyper growth and you're like, hey, I just want to be profitable. I want to grow slowly. I say you raise price by a minimum 15%. I would actually shoot you for more like 25%, but that might be scary for you. We did 28% this last year and I lost 10% of customers. Okay.
Okay.
Highly recommend you go above 15%. Do not do a 10% price increase. Minimum 15%. You do that, you will immediately drive enough revenue to the bottom line to get one full-time admin person and have more profit in the business. One
I
full-time
do,
person
I do,
taking that off your plate. Go ahead.
I do raise prices every year. I go just under 10% every year.
No, we're doing 20.
Should 20.
It's the difference between
I'm
you
getting
affording an
people
admin
yelling
person.
at me. Huh?
Yeah, but who cares? You're gonna fill them up. You're gonna fill up with more customers in Spring Rush. Like, wait till Spring
Correct.
Rush when you're just bombarded in work. You have so much work coming in, you can't handle it. You're losing your mind. What you're going to do is you're going to do two things. One, you're going to schedule your price increases and tell customers, and hey, in 3 weeks your prices are going up. And at the same time, you're going to hire an admin person to start on that day. And now you will know that that price increase will cover the cost of that admin person 100% and give you more profit in the bank. So you're going to get your sanity back. And by you getting your sanity back, you'll make the business more profitable in 5 other areas and make it more efficient because you'll have the bandwidth to actually think about pay for performance, think about marketing, think about sales, think about your website. Because right now you're wrapped up in admin and operations.
Correct. Yeah. Very, very true.
You will
Very true.
replace the customers you lose that are mad at you. And yes, 5% of them will freak out or whatever. You'll lose them. Whoop de do. Like, let them go to voicemail. Goodness gracious. And then what you're going to do is you're going to take all that extra money, go hire an admin person, and then you'll have more bandwidth to go do sales and replace those 5 customers in a matter of 3 to 4 weeks. Just do it. None of this 5, 6, 7%
No,
increases stuff. 20%, baby. Let's
I
go.
do
Let's
10%,
move.
just under 10%, guy, just
Not
under
a chance.
10%.
Not a chance.
But okay, I'm just taking notes right now. I really
Yeah,
appreciate you taking the time. Thank you.
you got it.
Thank you very much.
If I can go ahead or somebody else, but I'd like to
Go
ask
ahead,
it.
Kyle.
All right, so somewhat similar business. I think we're going to be around 620 or something like that after we do taxes and revenue and all that. Um, I had a part-time girl that was working about 15 hours. She was helping me on the books and stuff like that. I have a bookkeeper and all that. As far as I want to see where you say, I just did quick math and I would say we're probably running like 4% profit now. We're also growing. I'm not really concerned about profit. I'm just trying to grow. And I will say this: we do multiple services. We don't just do one service, right? So I know that's not what you're a fan of, but I just enjoyed the different aspects. We're going to be around 120,000 just in debt on equipment and trucks, and well, not even trucks. All the trucks are paid off, just equipment. Um, my question is I'm not really concerned about losing customers. I think, like you said, if we raise prices 20% or something like that, um, we would still keep most of them. Uh, I'm just curious, what is your thought? My goal is still to continue to grow to max out our trucks, and then from there, I just buy more trucks or whatever I do, right? So,
Okay, so we're talking about both sides of our mouths because here's the first thing.
yeah,
We have said, like, unless you hate money, you should probably raise
yeah,
prices. Because
yeah,
you
yeah,
just said that we will raise prices by 20%, not many people will leave. So the
yeah.
only reason you wouldn't raise prices is if you hate money.
Okay. Yeah,
Now, the other thing is, you are speaking on both sides of your mouth in terms of saying, hey, we want to grow, but I'm
yeah,
also going to do a very profit-driven thing, which is raise prices,
yeah.
which is counterintuitive growth. And
Correct.
so I would get laser like focused on which of these paths am I on. If you
Okay.
want to increase profits, when you hit capacity, you do not buy another truck, you do not hire another person, you raise prices then.
Okay.
It is a binary decision in terms of when do we raise prices. And so whether it be next spring, like, okay, we're maxed out, we need another truck. Now you're at a point to make the decision. Am I in profit mode or am I in growth mode? Growth mode is going to be, I go buy a truck, I keep growing this thing, let's go. The other
Yeah.
alternative is I raise prices by 20%, I lose 10% of my customers, and I take a month or two to replace them with other well-paying customers.
Yeah. Yeah.
So saying that I want to grow and I want to raise prices, you're kind of usually I see someone that's unclear in terms of do you want to make more money or do you want to grow more? It is a binary decision. And when you hit capacity, you have the decision to make.
Yeah. It's one or the other. You can't be in the middle, right?
Yeah. Then
Okay.
you run a fast growing company with no cash.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, that's a wrap.